I'm going to show you how to prepare your fabric for a buttonhole if you don't have a buttonhole foot for your sewing machine. I have the marks here on my fabric already. You take your button, center it over the mark, and then place a pin on the top and the bottom of the button. There you can see my pins are separated by the same length as the button. My sewing machine is a Singer Confidence Quilter, which is a pretty basic electronic sewing machine. It comes with all of these buttonhole stitches. I'm going to use 91, 92, and 93, and it will make a buttonhole similar to 94. And I have my origami bin set up to start stitching now. The mark that was placed earlier is centered horizontally between the foot, and then this pin here is centered where the stitch is going to start back there. My first stitch, number 91, is going to start at the top, and it's going to create the bar at the top, and then it'll stitch down to the bottom. Once I reach this bottom pin, I'm going to switch to 92, which will do the bottom, and then it will do a straight stitch up to the top. And then once I reach the top again, I'll switch to 93, which will then do the tight zigzag stitch all the way down to the bottom, and that's when the buttonhole is complete. Since I have it placed, I'm going to take this first pin out so I'm not sewing over it, and go ahead and start sewing. Once I get near the pin, I'm going to pull it out a little bit so that it's not underneath the needle, but I'm leaving it in so that I can see when it goes back to, or when I sew up to it. Okay, and I just reached the pin, so I'm going to take that out and then change my stitch to number 92 on my machine, and it's going to do the bottom and then stitch back up to the top. Okay, I reached back up to the top. I'm going to turn it to 92 or 93, I'm sorry, and it's going to go all the way back down. Sometimes it needs a little help to get over that bump. Another thing you could do is slip some fabric behind your foot here to give it some traction. I'm just going to push it a little bit through. Okay, I made it to the bottom. Here's my finished buttonhole. And now you just need to cut a slit down the middle. I use my thread snippers to do that. You could also use your seam ripper, but the seam ripper can get away from you, so put a pin right there at the top, so you'll start at the bottom. I'll just do it and show you real quick. Start at the bottom, and then that will prevent you from clipping through the top threads. Measuring the button with the pins the way that I did makes it so that your button slides through but is still snug.